When he uncovered the dark truth about how many healthy pets were being put down at high kill shelters, Paul Stiklenski knew that he had to do something about it. So he came up with an incredible way to help animals in need. But the mission was an extremely daunting task. Stiklenski is from Schwenksville, Pennsylvania. He's a U.S. Army veteran who spent the 1990s serving his country and led officer training at Kentucky's Fort Knox. These days, he works as a network engineer and focuses on Cisco technologies. He also likes to cook and has an interest in classic cars. In spring 2013, Stiklenski began working for a company near his home. "I started driving to my new job, and I would pass this small airfield," he told CNN. "I don't know why, but I just decided one day to go in and sign up for flying lessons." It was something he had considered in the past, but never got around to it. "My uncle was a pilot. I still have his logbook from the 30s and 40s, he told Today. So, Stiklenski soon began learning how to fly planes. And that wasn't the only significant thing that happened at that time in the Army vet's life. His family made the decision to adopt a dog named Tessa from the Pennsylvania shelter after he completed about 6 flying lessons. The lab and retriever mix had been transported there from Tennessee. The experience introduced Stiklenski to something that he hadn't known much about: animal rescue. In particular, it made him realize how many healthy pets were being put down simply because the shelters were overcrowded. He also became mindful of how many people worked to help them. "You learn about this huge underground railroad of people who volunteer their time, money, and energy to get animals out of shelters," Stiklenski said to CNN. "I became so aware and more compassionate to all the animals." So, when he got his pilot license, Stiklenski came up with a creative way to do his part. He wanted to use his new skills not just for pleasure, but to give back. He didn't have the required qualifications, though, to allow him to work for Angel Flight, which flies patients requiring medical service for free. Then he realized he could start a new venture of his own and pilot animals in need instead. In 2015, Stiklenski started the nonprofit Flying Fur Animal Rescue. He transports pets from high kill shelters across state lines to rescue organizations in Connecticut, New Jersey, and New York, and then works to find them loving homes. Some of the dogs have adopters waiting for them when they land, and others go into foster care. "I learned that if they don't get out of certain areas of the country, they don't live," Stiklenski said. "The further south you get, the worse it gets. And there are so many organizations up north that are no-kill that will take these animals." Stiklenski bought a $70,000 plane to complete his rescue missions. He additionally spends more than $1,000 a month out of his own pocket on his trips, which is why he maintains a full-time job, and he insists that it's worth every penny. Once Stiklenski had realized how many creatures he could help in this way, there was no looking back. "Knowing that I could take a day off from work and quite literally help save the lives of dozens or more animals just by doing this, that was it," he explained. "I didn't need to know any more." Stiklenski does his trips twice a month, and in the past 3 years, he's completed nearly 100 of them, flying more than 1,000 dogs to freedom and saving their lives in the process. On each journey, he'll take approximately 15 dogs with him, as well as the occasional cat, and he says they react in different ways. "I'll look to who's the most scared or the most terrified, and know that if I put them next to me, they'll be calm. A lot of times, depending on the size of my co-pilot, he'll kind of shimmy over and get on my lap and fall asleep," he continued. "Usually, once the engine starts up, they hear the noise and the vibration, and everybody settles in." Stiklenski added, "Some will look out the window or fall asleep. It's usually a non-event. It's preferable to flying with people in a lot of ways, but it's bittersweet in the sense that you've got to spend maybe 2 hours with them, and they start to bond with you a little bit, and now they're moving on. It's just what you have to do. They have to move on to their next step." Stiklenski plays a small yet crucial part in the lives of these dogs and cats, and reveals that each of them leaves an impact on him. "I'm part of them. I see it. I experience it," he explained to Today. "I can remember each flight like it just happened." Stiklenski added to CNN, "We're only in the plane for a short period of time, but that time is so precious to me. There are moments we share in that plane that I will never forget." His company started gaining interest in 2016, and he's now seen several articles written about Flying Fur Animal Rescue. The Pennsylvania native was made a CNN hero in 2018, and his organization has more than 170,000 supporters on Facebook. Stiklenski recognizes he's made a lot of progress in the past few years, but he wants to take the charity to new heights. In the future, he's hoping to create an adoption center in his home state that he can travel into with the dogs directly. And that's not all. I want to upgrade our aircraft to something bigger that can go further, Stiklinski said. I don't know how I'm going to get there yet, and it's going to take a lot of money, but it's my challenge. Stiklinski thinks that fate brought him his mission. I truly believe in this. It's my passion, he told Today. I don't think I found it. It found me. And although he readily admits that his work has its difficulties, there's one thing I never ever tire of, and that is quietly watching one of my passengers gaze into the outside world and wondering what they're thinking.